Hello, Cavale, and welcome to your deck review. I looked at your primer and I saw we're doing Kilo, but we're doing Kilo weird counters. And specifically, we don't want to go infinite unless we are winning on the spot because I believe the quote was, I don't want to spend 20 minutes wasting everyone's time to just fizzle. And holy God, have you picked the wrong commander for that, my brother in Christ. I mean, listen, I support you. I support weird counter gaming, but oh man, is Kilo the take a 20-minute turn to not win commander if there ever was one. So let's see. Let me turn your tags on. Let's see what we have. Assemble the tokens. Yeah, sure. Reasonable. Can finish a game. You don't touch me. We can probably cut all of these. Oh, shield counters. Never mind. Definitely cut that. Definitely cut that. Definitely cut that. Definitely cut that. I'm kidding. Proliferation, no breathing. I don't I don't understand the joke there, but I trust you. All right, so we have thrumming bird, but it's an actual seagull. Me when I proliferate twice. Me if you mess with me, I proliferate. I love Bahamut. 36 lands total. It's on the low end, but we have a 3 CMC commander. We have 2 board wipes. This is really like one board wipe and then one kind of emotional safety blanket. Like, in case of emergency, I will nuke the entire world. Cheap ramp. Sure. The way to tap Kilo. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I guess we can... Okay, if we're proliferating a million times, or not even proliferate... No, proliferating. If we proliferate a million times, we can hold mana turn to turn, sure. You are a child. I have seen Pyramid of the Pantheon before. You will not trick me. This one is just a bad card, but it is beautiful that you get to run it here. That's alright. This one's probably my least favorite, but I'm sure it has a use case, right? We get to untap Kilo. It's probably part of some type of like, you know, tap, untap, tap, untap. I get so much value. This is probably the type of thing where if we don't want to take a 20-minute turn, the direction I'm probably going to suggest you go with this deck is to cut stuff like this. Like, cut anything that does not very cleanly go infinite or does not contribute to I am taking minimal game actions for maximal effect type of turn, even though Sonic Screwdriver, objectively a pretty decent card, or at least a pretty flexible card that you probably have good ways to use. Shut the fuck up. You have 36 lands. You know what? You might need this. You have 36 lands. You need 3 pips. I personally feel like I would rather see you on like the talismans and the signets if we need to fix our pips. Also because I'm presuming that if you're doing a proliferate based strategy, those tend to have some degree of overlap with like artifact based strategies. Like, I'm thinking about obviously you're not going to have this guy in your deck, but I'm thinking about like Karnstrucks, right? If we have, okay, I have Kilo. I don't want to do a lot of soft comboing. I'm okay with going infinite, but I have to go infinite, and that infinite has to win me the game on the spot. What else are we going to do to close that game out? My first thought is, oh, I'll do a thing, and this doesn't even work the way I thought it did because those aren't counters. Snip, snip, redact that whole 40 seconds. Never mind. Never mind. Fuck that entire train of thought. Gone. Consistent draw. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. 2 good ones, and then funny, good times. Counter doubling, sure. Counter for thee, not for me. Oh, God. All right. Can't attack or block, loses all abilities. So this is the Hell Dimension. This is the Torment Nexus in your deck. That's actually pretty fucking clever. Counter manipulation. Sure, and we can draw a card. Move a counter from one creature to another creature. Okay. Whenever a permanent you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those on a different permanent you control. And for 5 mana, I can move stuff around. I don't really believe in this unless we have a very, very clear plan of action. Lands but spells. Hell yeah. Keyword spaghetti. Okay, now I'm seeing the dream a little bit. I can understand the brain sickness that's leading you to be like, oh yeah, but if I get Scavenged Brawler in my graveyard, and then I use Goldberry to move that vigilance counter around, and then I proliferate them, I have 2 vigilance counters, and I can move 1 to Kilo, and then after all that work, at long last, a vigilant 3/3. I get it. I see the dream. Independent draw. This is crazy. This is crazy. I love you. I know we've never met, but I feel like I know you with the trauma response of this level. I don't know what Rhystic Study player you're playing against. I don't think 3 mana net 0 is appropriate, even if you can get it back to hand. I think for a deck like this, where you kind of seek to maybe build up, like you're trying to get to draw engines and then leverage those draw engines to get a lot done, this is like almost no contest against something like Stock Up, which I know I beat that horse to death every single day, but Stock Up, Drawn from Dreams, like however much you're doing, I'll spend a card to grab 2 cards, then I have to discard 1. Like the moment we get Insight Engine, everything's chill. I would rather spend like the 1 more mana or the 2 more mana and see enough of my deck to be confident that I'm going to get Insight Engine or Joyra or Howling Mine or what have you. Sure, we get to proliferate. Highly relevant for a deck with what I am assuming is going to be a high artifact count. Yeah, 32. Sure, you do have artifacts in the deck. That's how that works. Absolutely the fuck not. This is horribly bad. This is not. I'm assuming this is a pet card for some reason, or maybe you just like having a lot of relevant 1-drops. I'm assuming it just gives you a lot of like pleasure in your heart to have 1-drops, because we don't have, there's not really like important counters for us to proliferate here. I think if we're doing an artifact recursion strategy, this is not an important artifact to recur either. Here, let me drag this over and see if I'm missing anything. Okay. No, we want weird counters. Our favorite things are Myojin of Roaring Blades. Please don't be the land destruction one. I've messed around with a Myojin or 2 in my time. Where are these guys at? Finisher. Okay. Oh no. Remove it, deal 7 damage to each target, and then if we proliferate the indestructible counter, bang, 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 bang. I love that. That was pretty solid. Boon of the Spirit Realm, and then we can proliferate the Blessings counter to just get a massive Anthem. That's also solid. Quests. Okay. Once during each turn, you may cast an artifact or human spell from your graveyard with mana value less than or equal to the number of quest counters on Arcade Ganon. Okay, I'm beginning to understand. This is where I can draw little Pepe Silva red pieces of like clothes string between pins while you huff paint in the corner. This is why we have Witching Well, right? Because the moment we play Arcade Ganon, not the moment we get the first quest counter on him, hell yeah, Witching Well can come back, and it is a repeatable 5 mana draw 2. When you cast an instant or sorcery that is the same name as a card in your graveyard, you may put a quest counter on Pyromancer. How do we even do this? Are you intending, if the intent is to move a quest counter from one of these 4 guys onto this guy and then proliferate it, that is brilliant, and some very nice men in white coats are going to have to take over from here, and they're going to help you with the rest of the deck build. That is kooky, brother. Okay. Then we have other quest counter payoffs. And Moira Brown will let us put a quest counter straight onto this and copy it. Oh, if we can get that going. All right, this is the greed they speak of in the Bible, but I'm feeling a little biblical. Basically, no removal. All right, other tappers. Not a fishing pole. Paradise Mantle, sure. Shaku, sure. Springleaf Drum, sure. The Holy Land. Ah, so we're searching for nesting grounds to move stuff around. Okay. Untap. Yeah, yeah. Then we can get infinite proliferate. If we combine, like, either Shaku or Paradise Mantle with Freed from the Real. Or, well, Shaku won't do it. Yeah, because we need colored mana for Freed from the Real. Okay, but we have some untappers. Okay. Okay. Let me finish compartmentalizing in my brain. There's a lot of freaky Jeskai calculus going on here. When you sent this in, you had tagged it as it does the thing, but the thing is too weak to matter. What I would put to you is I think you have too many children that you love. You need to envision a bracket 2 commander deck like you are a parent in the 800 in like year 817. You have a subsistence farm. You are giving birth to children primarily to help you farm potatoes so that you don't starve. You're going to have like 15 kids. How many make it to adulthood? Maybe 3. You can't put equal love behind all those 15 kids. You have to pick the 3 who look tall and hardy and seem like they're going to survive a winter. And so right now the way I think that's playing out is you have a ton of interesting counters you can put on stuff. They don't all have an equal impact on how the game's going to play out, right? Like the good interesting counters I would say are Myojin of Roaring Blades, blessing counters on Boon of the Spirit Realm. Luminarch Ascension, pretty good, but it also only matters, like getting to 4 is the only thing that matters. Like Myojin of Roaring Blades is the only one where you really want to be going like infinite or near infinite for this to kill a table, since you only do 7 with each pop, which would be like, you probably need 3, you probably only need 3 to 5. So maybe we don't need to worry about going infinite period, you only need to worry about getting 3 to 5 counters on stuff. What does this do? Blaze counter on a land. For as long as it has a blaze counter, deals 1 damage on upkeep. That's really funny. Um, but we've gone so deep into the cute stuff, we have very little like normal stuff to draw the game forward. And even when it comes to our card draw seems way too synergy pilled. Especially for a deck like this is kind of the weird part about building a weaker deck is I have found when you go for narrower gimmicks, you actually need way more robust card draw. Like you need to be way more responsible and way less synergy pilled when it comes to your card draw, unless that synergy is crazy hot. And for you, because so few of your cards matter, I don't think you want augury. I sincerely doubt you have the mana to pull off a sick pull from tomorrow, but I'll let you try. Like Pulse of the Grid, you're valuing reusability over better card access in the first place, and that's telling me that the card draw that you currently have is not working. If you have a persistent feeling that it's okay to overpay as long as I have the option to reuse it, it means that you feel like you're going to need to reuse it over and over again. And I would have written it off as maybe you just like old cards, or maybe you just like cheap cards, until I saw Witching Well, which you are valuing as being able to reuse with Arcade Ganon. But like the likelihood that you see Arcade Ganon and Witching Well in the same game is basically nothing. And it's going to stay basically nothing until you get more cards like Drawn from Dreams. that just let you go deep into your deck and say, where's the fucking guy I need? Let me go get him. Let me go get him. Or until you begin dipping into tutors, because the moment you have red. Like the moment you show me not Recruit of the Guard, I think it's Imperial Recruiter is the one who does it for power. The moment you show me like, oh yeah, well like I'm gonna draw into Arcade Ganon, because if I don't draw into Arcade Ganon, I'm gonna draw into Imperial Recruiter who's gonna go get Arcade Ganon. Or I'm gonna draw, like, maybe I won't find Luminarch Ascension, but I'll probably find Idyllic Tutor, or I will find Moonblessed Cleric, and then that will put Luminarch Ascension on top of my deck, and then I'll be good. If you want to have this many disconnected cards that like don't really work together, they all have counters, but that's just having a word in common. It's not really working alongside each other. Like Arcade Ganon wants to draw and discard and recur artifacts. Luminarch Ascension wants you to not get hit and then can contribute to a beatdown strategy. Pyromancer wants you to spell sling. These are all really, really disparate forms of value aggregation in Magic the Gathering. And so Kilo can kind of tie them all together because Kilo can help them all, but you're just kind of... It's a very like ADHD way to approach the game, which again makes sense for Kilo, but it's probably why you are having the struggles I presume you are having. A goddamn depletion counter, man. This is what I'm fucking talking about. This is the shit I'm talking about right here. And then kind of same goes from Leech Bonder. Like I think we're trying to be too clever by half, and I think you probably need to pare it down to a smaller subset of clever cards. I think a deck can maybe support like 20 at most. Are we in bracket 2 or bracket 3? If we're in bracket 2, like, you can kind of do whatever, but I promise you the reason we are struggling is because we're trying to do Leech Bonder at the same time we're trying to use Fishing Pole, at the same time we're trying to use Pyromancer Ascension, at the same time we're trying to use Scholar of New Horizons for repeatable ramp, at the same time we're trying to win with Myojin of Roaring Blades. Like, because conversely there is where is this color? They're white, they're mana value 3. Oh yeah, this guy. Right? Compare it to a deck that's running like Cosmogrand Zenith and gets a couple tokens out, gets one round of counters on, proliferates those, beats you to death. I realize that to you is boring and not what you want to do, but I think right now we have way too many darlings, and we need to begin killing at least some of them. Like, Orim's Chant is a crazy trauma response, quite frankly. And the first place I would start is in your card draw section, because if you get enough access to the rest of the deck, you may be able to keep the rest of these, right? Like if you have a good enough time drawing through your library or tutoring in your library, if you use things like Moonblessed Cleric, that can hold things together a lot better. But I think an important thing to consider is like your tags are the priorities of your deck. These are the different things you want your deck to do, and the number of things you tag in them is how strongly you want the deck to do them. I think all of my decks have at least one tag with 20 things in it. The only way I've found to keep them consistent. If my priority number 1 tag gets below 20, I immediately lose faith the deck is going to do what I want to do. And you don't have anything with more than 7 things in it. So if the draw section gets really good, I have faith in Myojin. I have faith in Boon of the Spirit Realm plus creatures. And you have 22 creatures. Most of them are bad, but if they all have +8/+8, who cares if they're bad? So I'm gonna go over the things I really don't believe in value-wise. I don't believe in Sonic Screwdriver. I I don't believe in Pyramid of the Pantheon, which I think is unsurprising. I don't really believe in Aetheric Amplifier because you've not shown me a strategy that really needs doubling. You've not shown me a big guy that we're trying to put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on, which is where doubling gets you to a lethal threat. You've shown me a number of things where we kind of really kick on at like the 4 counter mark. And at that point, like just proliferating's fine. Like maybe these guys are the only things we want to double. That's not really enough to justify having a counter doubler in my mind. This is funny. I do not see a reason we have counter manipulation. I'm sure that you like it, but outside of giving a different thing lifelink, these are definitely holding you back because outside of moving the quest counters around to Pyromancer Ascension, which again, holy cookery, there's just nothing worth moving the counters around for. This is genuinely fine just to get shield counters. This is okay, but it's really not enough. I'm down with Filigree Vector. I'm down with Inspirit. This is funny. This is the section I think should get totally redone. I think you should redo these 7 cards with absolutely not a care in the world for synergy and only a care in the world for can these curve out into cards that get me the cards I need. So if we do Commander, Jeskai, Otag, card advantage. Oh look, Ristic Study. Obviously the One Ring is going to be good. I'm not necessarily recommending you do the One Ring. We don't draw enough cards for that. Dig Through Time, certainly not a bad spell. That is a game changer, so we don't need it. This Joyra is still good. Oh, you could do Cut a Deal. That's what, 3 mana, draw 3. Your opponents draw a little bit, but it's bracket 2, so that's probably not the end of the world. You could do Lorien Revealed. This could probably replace Wayfarer's Bauble even. Because if you find this, then you just island cycle for like a Triome or a dual land, and that will fix your hand just as good as the Bauble was going to do. You could do Secret Rendezvous if you want, but I would say if you're going to draw cards into your hand, draw 3 or more. If you are going to draw fewer than 3 cards, you should Impulse, and you should use the good blue impulses. Because we have a very, very, very confuzzled game plan. And so we got to get really, really deep if we're going to find the cards we need to make that work. So I already talked about Stock Up. I talked about Drawn from Dreams. There's Consult the Star Charts. There's Memory Deluge, which also has Flashback. But like we gotta go deep in this deck to find the synergy pieces that are gonna work together. Because if I just try to do a little quick playtest here. All right, Howling Mine. Everybody's drawing more. Brilliant. I get Kilo. Holy taplands, brother. Okay, I also think you should probably redo your land base a little bit to look into signet lands, fast lands, but it's bracket 2. It's probably not the end of the world. So we wait an extra turn on this. We get Thrumming Bird down instead. Oh, we have fetch lands. That hurts me. This, we get Ganon. All right, we have our first quest counter to proliferate. We get to draw a card. Hey, Witching Well, go away. We get to cast it from the graveyard. Isn't that fun? We get to play this guy. And a problem I have with this guy is the Blaze counter. Proliferating this doesn't do anything. Maybe that's why we have... Like, we've picked a weird counter, but making more of them I don't think has a benefit for us, because this doesn't read to me... This does not read to me like it deals 1 for every Blaze counter, and it does not read to me like if I put a Blaze counter on an unrelated land, that land will also burn, because the ability seems tied to both the Blaze counter and Obsidian Fireheart targeting it with this ability. So I have my first, like, payoff, but my first payoff don't do nothing. So I get to draw, discard. I dump my mana into Pull from Tomorrow, which would be draw 5. Then discard a card. I have my Scavenged Brawler, and now I'm left with, you know, I have a potential big proliferate engine, another way to potentially go infinite, a way to double counters, but the only counters I have is a quest counter. And this is with a Howling Mine on board the entire time too. At long last, I get Heliod's Punishment, and turn 8 I can begin locking somebody down. But that playtest to me seems really indicative of, like, we've tried to do so many fun things, and we've not put in very many things that matter. So the steps I would take to try to correct this is, first, change your card draw section, see if getting more robust card draw can help you get to the stuff that does matter even a little bit. After that, I would begin cutting anything that does not put power onto the board in favor of things that put power onto the board. So stuff you want to proliferate becomes stuff like Cosmic Grand Zenith, where it's like, oh, I'm putting counters on my creatures, and then I will proliferate those, because this deck seems to have a very, very hard time getting a meaningful board state down. Some things like Belisarius can stay, because you are, again, committing creatures to the board state. But that is the order of operations I would take. Because you have a lot of fun stuff in here, but you have way, way, way too much fun stuff. So I hope this provides the right sense of direction for where you go in the future, and I hope you enjoyed.